Download this code and get free GPT-4o from codegive.com, link in the description below. URL encoding is a mechanism for converting characters into a format that can be transmitted over the internet. This is particularly important when dealing with special characters that have specific meanings in URLs or characters that are not allowed in URLs. In Java, you can use the URL encoder class to perform URL encoding. Why URL encode? Certain characters in URLs have special meanings. Indicates the start of a query string. And separates parameters in the query string. Equals assigns values to parameters. Spaces can break URLs, and some characters are not valid in a URL. To ensure that these characters are safely transmitted, they need to be encoded. How to URL encode in Java. In Java, you can use the java.net.url encoder class to encode strings. Here's how you can do it. 1. Import the required class. You need to import java.net.url encoder. 2. Encode the string. Use the encode method from the URL encoder class. You need to specify the character encoding, like UTF-8. Example code. Here's a complete example of how to URL encode a string with special characters in Java. Explanation of the code. 1. Import statements. We import unsupported encoding exception and URL encoder. 2. Original string. We define a string that contains special characters. 3. Encoding the string, we call URL encoder.encode, original string, UTF-8, to encode the string. 4. Output, we print both the original and the encoded strings. Output. When you run the above code, you will see an output like this. Note on decoding. If you ever need to decode a URL encoded string, you can use URL decoder.decode in a similar way. Conclusion. URL encoding is essential for ensuring that URLs are correctly formatted and can be transmitted without issues. In Java, the URL encoder and URL decoder classes make it straightforward to encode and decode strings as needed. Always remember to handle potential exceptions that may arise when dealing with character encoding.